Okay, it's about the time for the next lecture. So I am Kenta Murano from the engineering department, same with Ida-san. So we are in the same laboratory. So I am in the third generation and now master student, ending master's.
Yes, master.
Okay, so the previous lecture teaches you to use Java. So in this lecture, you can make use of Java knowledge to program Android devices. So this lecture is about the Android devices. So the content will be this structure. So firstly, I would like to introduce what is Android. So as you may know, the Android is the name of mobile OS. So and after that, we will use real devices to use some apps and write application for Android in your hand, and we will test the application in the real tablet. So let me first introduce why we need to develop Android devices. So I think, okay, let me start with a question. Do you use iPhone? Who use iPhone? Use Wii? Who use Android? Just one? Other devices? Windows Phone, BlackBerry? No? Okay. So most of you use iPhone, but the application development for iPhone is very difficult. I think you need to register your license to Apple. You need to pay money for Apple. So, but for Android, the application development is very easy, and the language of programming for Android is Java. So it is very easy. So and the device is very common in the world. So the number of devices is increasing every year, and you can find the Android smartwatch or Android phones, Android tablets, or even Android TVs. So if you can develop the application for Android, your application will be run in TV, watch, or even in car. So this is very important to develop Android devices. So I would like to show you the history of Android. The first version is developed in 2003, but in 2005, Google acquired. So now Android is a product of Google. So and then after some years, the Android version 1.0 released in 2008. And after 10 years, now Android is version 8. So there's many function change or performance change in Android. So this is the major versions in Android. The first version was first major update was Android 1.5 Cupcake, and then the following the alphabetical order, the Cupcake, Donut, Eclair, Froyo, Gingerbread, A, B, C, D, E. And now the many devices run Android Nougat, but the next one, Android 8, is called Android Oreo. So the latest version is Oreo, but the slide doesn't show the latest version. Okay, so you using Android. So what is your Android version? Marshmallow or Nougat, or do you know? You don't know. So maybe you should know the Android version. So there's many differences in the versions. If you are developing in Android Lollipop, maybe your application doesn't run in Android Nougat. So you need to know the versions of Android. So the Android has many functions because Java has many functions, but the Android is the OS. So the number of functions are huge. So maybe in the base level, the kernel is based on Linux. So if you connect to the Android device using computer, you can type Linux command like cd or ls or something like that. But there are some functions on the kernel making Android. So there are some libraries and runtimes or application frameworks. And the top level is the application you run, maybe Facebook or Twitter or something like that. So today we will touch the top level, not the bottom levels. So, and if you want to make an Android application, I think you are now looking the Android Studio in your PC. So you need to first set up your development environment, and you need to buy Android device or use virtual devices. And then write your application and test your application in your virtual devices or real devices. And after that, you may find some bugs or malfunctions. And when in such case, you have to debug the application. And finally, you can use the application by yourself, or you can register your application to Google Play Store. Maybe you need $35 to register the application. Maybe. So, okay, I think already just 10 minutes is from the start. We can touch the Android development, I think. ですよね. Okay, so to here, I briefly introduced the Android. I think so. Usually using iPhone. So do you know the basics of Android? Maybe the many of operations are same with iPhone and Android, but some maybe small changes make you feel difficult. Okay, so let's try. If you don't have question now, we will just start some exercise using Android Studio. Okay, but in your PC, the Android Studio is already set up. So, but if you want to use your computer for Android application development, you need to install Android Studio and Android some development tools or something like that. In your break, you need to install some dependencies. So the Android Studio is the official Android development environment. Maybe you can use some other environment, but the Android Studio is the official version. Okay. It's okay. みんなハローワールドが開いてる。みんなハローワールドが開いてる。Okay. So I just in the official procedure is to at first you need to make new project, but this time we already set up your project required in this exercise. So just look the official procedure. So you need to define the name, and you need to define the target. So I said that the version is important. You need to specify the minimum Android version for your application. If you specified Android version 5 for minimum, Android version 4, 3, 2 cannot run your application. And you need to decide the first view of the application and making the name of the first view, and then you can write some codes. But we already did this procedure for you. I think simply, yeah. Okay, I will now show you the real display. Later, wait a bit. どのエクササイズかな? Check out. Okay. Oh. よっと。よいしょ。I think you are now looking the display like this. Just look here. Okay. Okay. So this is your first Android application, and in writing this application, the to-do is just written here. You need to now the application is completely empty, so you have to put some button in the screen and bind a function to the button. When tapping the button in the screen, the message should appear on the screen. And for this lecture, you can grab the basic of Android applications, such as how to design the user interface. So the previous lecture, we used just command line, like the output is shown in just text. But now Android has its own screen. You can design your screen as you like. And so, but maybe you need to connect the design to the codes. In this application, you can learn these two. I think you already finished this procedure, opening an existing project and select Hello World. And you can see in the screen in your Android Studio, the files in the Hello World project is shown here, and the editor is the right-hand side of the files, and the messages from the device or compilers or Android Studio itself will be shown at the bottom. Okay, I think. And in the Android, what is important is here. Could you please open the in the files? Please open app and Jabber and com Android blah 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 Hello World. you can see the main activity. Please open the, I will show you. This one. Open the app, Java, com, example, planner, hello world, and here. And app, res, layout, activity main.xml. Okay. These two files are very important. Open, yeah, this one. Okay, and activity main. And res, layout, activity main. Yeah, that file. Layout and activity main. Okay. So, in your application, the main activity is called at first. When you launch an application, the main activity is called at first. So the first screen will be main activity, but this one, app Java com blah 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 main activity, is just a logic. What is written in this file is just how to drive the application. The user interface is not included. But in your app res layout activity main, please check this file, activity main. Just open this one. I think you will see some screen which is a yup. Okay, like this screen. Yes. Orange shows. Okay, so as you can see, the activity main.xml is the important for designing the UI. This one. If you want to change the UI, for now, just a title bar and hello world text is shown. But if you want to add some, maybe whatever will do. But if you want to add check button here, just drag and drop the item into the view. This is the user interface designer of Android Studio. It's very easy. Yeah, you can change the location of the hardware. Yeah, you can add some user interface to this screen by drag and drop. Okay, so this is the UI designer. And this activity main.xml is bound to the main activity.java. So could you change the file to the main activity.java? And please see here, protected void on create, and here, set content view. Could you please check? Just check. Yes. Okay. And as you can see, the what is specified here is this one, r.layer.activity main. So if you change this text, like activity main from activity main to activity serve, the application will crash because there's no layout file for activity serve. And if you check the activity main.xml and change text view, you can see here, the logic main activity.java is written here. So because of that, the user interface, so what is shown in your screen and the program codes are related to each other. So you can define some program logic here in onCreate. But I want you to do something. Okay, here. So could you please open the activity main.xml? And I would like you to add a button into your screen. In your design view, maybe you can drag and drop some components. Just add a button onto the screen.
Text. Add text view?
No, button.
Button? Oh, sorry.
Just
So here is button. No.
grab the button and
Drag and drop
here.
here.
Drag and drop.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can design the.
Please put your button in preferred place. The place is not important for now. And then we want to add the function to the button. Like when you tap a button, the message will appear, something like that. And okay, just write the code. So, なんて言えばいいかな. You ran Java just 1 hour ago. Please make use of your knowledge. But a little bit difficult. We will show how to write the code for Android. But the to-do is here. Just maybe this is very easy. First, open your main activity file and write some code such as, this is so difficult for now, but if you understand the basics, this gonna be very easy. So, but at first, just please copy the code. So if you open the main activity, the content is nothing. I think you can, okay, just run the application at first.
Yes, for sure.
And confirm what happens. Okay. So, okay. In your main activity.java, in your code, after the line of set content view, there's no line in your application. But if you want to add some function to the button, you have to write these functions in here, in on create. So please write the this code off. Okay. Please write this one. Just rewrite the lines. This is very annoying, but important. You have to write find view by ID. This one. I think the IDE can support your writing. If you put some fragment of the code, the IDE will suggest some candidates for your writing. I think. Maybe. So here I specified r.id.button, but you have to specify the button just you added to the your design. Okay, so I will hide the code for now. Please wait. I will show these codes again. So in your layout view, you have a 待て待て、何が起きた Git マスターになっとるわな。バグってんな。Okay. So here, I added the button here, and please click the button. And in your right-hand side, the attributes of the button will be shown, and you can check the ID of the button. Okay. Okay, so I will be back to the code. So you need to specify the ID of the button. This is case sensitive. For me, the ID was large B button, but maybe you are seeing the different. In the real application, you should not use this abstract name. Okay, but for now, it is not a problem. So, and then you can change the method. Change the method using dot. If we write find view by ID, bracket RID button bracket dot set on click listener. Maybe if you put dot and type S, the code will suggest. Yeah. But this is very basic, and we are not using the functions on Android. It's boring. So for now, we would like to use some sensors in Android. Okay, but a little bit wait. Okay. Okay, I will explain. Okay, do you play Pokemon Go or some games? So in your Pokemon Go, you need GPS, or you need to use our device orientation to search the Pokemon in AR mode. So these applications use Android functions to acquire sensor data. For now, we will use some sensors in Android. So for now, what to do is write an application that accesses the sensors in Android device. Maybe the sensors will be accelerometer or gyro or magnetic field or something like that, and shows the value read from sensors. And the aim of this exercise is to acquire sensor data using a real device. Because this is RWDC program, you need to acquire the data first, and the next you have to analyze and find something from data. This is just a start point of the RWDC, just starting with reading the sensor data. Android has many sensors in the device. So one device has these sensors like accelerometer. This is used to detect the velocity or device orientation or something like that. And gyro sensor detects the rotation of the device. And magnetic field, you need this sensor to use Google Maps. So in the navigation mode, if you turn your orientation, the Google Map will automatically turn the direction of your head. So this is using magnetic field sensor. Or some device has air pressure sensor. If you go to the Mount Fuji, the air pressure will go down. So some devices can detect these air pressures. And maybe you are using ambient light sensors to coordinate the display's brightness automatically. And if you are in the dark place, the display will automatically dim. And proximity will be used when you call to someone. If the screen is on and you are calling someone, maybe your ear will touch the screen, but the screen does not work in phone call. This is because of proximity sensor. Detects my head is very close to the device and controlling the display not to respond the touch. And I already said GPS is important. Or you can record your voice with mic. For now, this exercise will use accelerometer. But the code is very complicated. We just prepared the complete application code now.
Okay, so you can get this kind of view with graph. Can you get? Yeah, this is the visualization of accelerometer sensor. So if you change the direction of the display, you can get other view. Can you get? Yes. So this is one of the visualization of the sensor data. So from now, we would like to try access this kind of data. Okay. So
this is complete one. So for now,
Okay, so for now, we try to get some data, sensor data from scratch. Scratch なのか。
from scratch.
Yes, so okay, now we start the coding. So first, please open other project like Hello Sensors. Maybe you already downloaded Hello Sensors. I already created some activity and layout. So please, let's start add some code to this project and get the sensor data.
レイアウトはもう。
レイアウトは作ってある。
So the user interface is complete. So you have to write some code on your main activity.java.
プレファレンス。文字ちっちゃいよね、これ。
フォントってサーチすれば。で、エディター、その下、左ペインのフォントにして、サイズを。
サイズ
入らない？なんで入らないの？あ、入らない。
さっきの変えられない。これあれじゃない？関係ないか。変えれないんだけど。あれ？Okay, so can you open the Hello Sensors? So I prepared some views and some code for main activity. So let's see the view. So I put 4 lines for view. So one is just the name of the sensor and So at first in this exercise, we would like to show the values for x and y and z axis in this area. So I already prepared this view. So we would like to add the code to access the sensor and set the value for the text view. So, okay. To access the sensor, we have to get some sensor manager and sensor like this. And the sensor manager is the manager to operate the sensors. So we can access the sensor data through this sensor manager. And okay, so let's add the code. So maybe you already know these 2 lines. So we get context from layout activity main. So at first, we get the view to show the sensor data. So at the previous exercise, we get the button and we add the on-click function to add the function when the function which calls the button is tapped. So in this exercise, we get this text view to show the sensor value. So let's add this line here. So まだ覚えてないんだよね。よいしょ。Like this. So 多分ね、テキスト HCX バリューとかこれか。So it's very similar to when これこうなるんだよね。Okay? Y だね。So okay. So at first we access the text view. So like this. So this is a find view by ID we used before, and put ID like this, HCCX value. So actually I put this ID already. So this text area have this HCCX value because we put the X value to here, this one, and here is ACCY value, and here is Z value. So to show the value here, we get the text view like this.これあれだな。So and いいかな。この辺はいいよね。Okay.
I think you already opened the sensor viewer. Maybe the same.
Same, but the ID is different. Sorry.
Maybe same code is in the sensor viewer. You can copy the code from sensor viewer, but the ID of the component is different.
Yes, so please use the ID which is defined this view. Like this. もういいかな、次行っても。Okay, so for the next step, we should get the sensor manager from the device. So this is the code to get the sensor manager. So like this. So manager is the member variables I defined here, and manager equal we get the sensor manager from the get system service. We put here. We put the service name here. So we would like to access the sensor. So we put like here sensor service. So this manager has the function to access the sensors. And after that, we get the sensor from the sensor manager. So this is a code to get the sensor. Manager.get default sensor. And this function gets the sensor type. So for the first step, we would like to access the accelerometer sensor. So let's put the sensor.type accelerometer. So Actually, if you want other type of data, maybe suggestion show the other type of the sensor. Like this is the accelerometer, or it's air pressure, or magnetic field, or gyroscope, or something. So you can choose the other type of data. But for now, let's get the accelerometer. So this one. So by using this sensor variable, we can get the sensor value for each time step. Okay, so next to access. So actually, sensor value is updated in the time passed. So we have to add some sensor listener which operate the sensor value. So to get sensor value, we have to register this kind of sensor listener in this function. So okay, like this. So manager.register listener. So this function shows that. So to tell the manager we would like to access the sensor, and this activity uses the sensor value. So to tell the manager this kind of information, we have to register this kind of listener, sensor event listener, this. So manager.register listener, sensor event listener. So this means this main activity. And sensor, so we would like to use this sensor. And this kind of sensor delay, we have to set some options like this. So please write this code in resume function. And also, we have to add code to unregister sensor listener. So this means no longer this activity use the sensor. So put this code here. Have we finished? And then, finally, we define the function which is called the sensor value is updated. So this function called onSensorChanged. So this function is called when the sensor value is updated. So in this time, we have to just simply show the value of the sensor. So we would like to put this kind of, we have to update the view like this. So in this event contain the values of the sensor. So for example, we would like to update the text view, like this x-axis, y-axis, this axis. So we can update the view like this, text view dot set text, and we can access the sensor value like this. So actually, this event dot value, this is 0 contains the x value, and 1 contains the y, 2 contains the z. So we can put each value like this. So please write this kind of code in your source. And if you finished, please run this application. Maybe you will get the sensor value in your device. Time is up. So, do you have some questions?
まあこの状況ではなかろうけど。
はい。はい。So, finish.
Maybe.
So, okay.
Okay. Thank you for coming today. So our lecture was two sections. Have two sections. First one was Java by Ida-san, and the second one is you are touching now Android by Urano and Ida-san. So maybe this is our first DTF lecture. So maybe a little bit difficult to get the content, but I appreciate your very eager to hear the lesson. Thank you for coming today. And I think you should take another lectures tomorrow and Wednesday.
Day tomorrow?
Maybe.
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 Yeah.
So please try hard to get the content from other lecture. Maybe there are some basics should be same.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoy this lecture. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.